With the timer counting down, you know what that means, and you know what we're here to do. I'm very excited as we have two sports to talk about today, both the Raptors and the Maple Leafs, not the Blue Jays, as we will talk about, drop my phone, as we will talk about the Blue Jays just a little bit here, as Bellinger signed with the Yankees, as that was the last that I heard. Last little bit of research here. Yes, Cody Bellinger goes back to the Yankees, as pretty much everyone that the Yankees wanted has signed with either the Mets or has signed with the Dodgers. Same goes for our Toronto Blue Jays. So today we're going to be talking about the Raptors, of course. We got our next 5 games after last night on the schedule here, and then we're going to be talking a little bit about the Leafs. As the last time we talked about the Leafs, I dropped a little prediction for us. That didn't go well, like at all. As I said that our last game was going to be a 4-2 win. I was a little bit off on that one, to say the least, as the Wild would come into town after our long road trip and kick our butts. So, today in sports, on the 21st of January, we're going to be talking about the Raptors road trip, as well as the trade deadline coming up in basketball. As we talked about the Leafs the other day, today we'll be talking about the trade deadline, and then going over the Raptors game, and then the Kings game, the Warriors game from last night, and then the Kings game, and then we will be talking about the Maple Leafs just a little bit. We'll touch up on that Wild game, and then we will, of course, talk about the game that was tonight, if I'm not mistaken. The Maple Leafs are back at home and back to playing regularly. This is the Detroit Red Wings tonight, as they are 16-4. So we'll get into that later. But for now, we will talk about this current Raptors road trip. This is the tough part of the season. This is the part of the season that the coaching staff most likely was stressing about, as the season was kicking off. We needed to be at a comfortable, good spot heading into these games, and I would say 26-19, fourth place in the NBA's Eastern Conference is not half bad. As pulling up the standings fully here, we are officially tied with the Knicks for the 3 seed. They have tiebreakers and whatnot, so that is why they will be sitting in the 3 seed right now. But they're 25-18 or 26-19. Pretty exciting. We've played 2 more games, so we'll see if they can match us there. But we are on the hunt. On the hunt for the 2 seed in the Eastern Conference. The Pistons sitting first at 31-10. As the Raptors, huge win last night, and we will always take that, especially when it was a little in doubt. As, again, if you missed yesterday's stream, or if you missed the Raptors games that have been going on lately, it's been pretty good stuff, if I do say so myself. The Lakers game was not. Let me clarify. I will say so myself that the Raptors game against the Lakers was awful. That was a really bad game, looking sluggish. The game last night against the Warriors, the complete opposite. So that was great. And then it is tonight we face Sacramento. Second half of a back-to-back. Sure, we looked great and dominant all game, but I think that's one of those games that is a once-in-a-lifetime game, if we're being honest with each other. Every shot was falling. Every player had a great game. And, hey, maybe that helps when the starting lineup is got 4 out of my 5 favorite players on this team. As starting in this game was Scotty Barnes, Brandon Ingram, Jamal Shed, who this is the Shed jersey we're rocking today, to go with Grady Dick, and then Emmanuel quickly rounded off the starting lineup. And They listened. I had this whole fit yesterday about Ochai Ajabi starting the game, and rightfully so. He's trash. In this game, he played 12 minutes and shot 2 for 6. I did not want that starting in the slightest. That was the last thing I wanted to watch for 30 minutes, and we didn't have to. So Grady Dick, he would instead start. He played 23 minutes. He'd score 10 points on 50% shooting. He would make 2 of his 5 threes attempted. He would make 2 of his free throws. He looked good out there. I mean, 10, 3, and no assists. So just 10 and 3. Not the greatest of games, not like we saw from the last week, but again, I don't think this guy's ever going to be unlocked when playing alongside Emmanuel Quickley. Same with my favorite player on the team right now, Jamal Shed. It's either him or Scotty. It revolves. Basically depends whoever's jersey I'm wearing that day. Wearing the Jamal Shed, he was 4 for 6 from the field, 2 for 2 from 3. We will always take that. No free throws for my favorite Raptor, as he had 10 points and 8 assists. Now, the assists were flowing in this one, as Scotty Barnes had 11 assists to go with 26 points and 7 rebounds. And then Emmanuel Quickley, the man of my YouTube short, the man of the hour, the record breaker, Emmanuel Quickley, as he scored 40 points on 84.6% field goal percentage. One of the greatest nights in NBA history, if we're being honest with each other. That is chef's kiss. That is such a good night. And I'll be honest with you, I see that comment, IQ for the All-Star game. Hey, let's push some agendas. Let's get this guy's value through the roof. As y'all know, I want a big man. I want a proper big man, and he's my trade chip. So looking at the advanced stat, the true shooting percentage, he shot, his true shooting was 1.121. He shot 121% on the true shooting, which can go above 100%, as that is how good this game was. His effective field goal percentage was 1.115. His box plus minus was 21.9. The next best on the team was actually Sandro from on the bench with a 13. As Mamu not starting. I looked at so many sources yesterday, and all of them fed me misinformation. They said Sandro and Ochai would be starting. Darko knows a thing or two, apparently, as, he didn't start either of those guys. Sandro would play 25 minutes, putting up 14 points, 12 rebounds, with 4 3-pointers. And yes, fully agreed right there. Emmanuel Quickley's value could not be better. Couldn't be better in the slightest. And I guess that brings us right into talking about the trade deadline for this team, as it's fast approaching in the NBA. And and NBA owners are, let's see, we'll go to the NBA trade block. We'll look that up. As owners are terrified right now to make deals. It's really disappointing. So far, again, only one trade made in the season. How do we have one trade made and it is January 21st? I am in genuine shock by how this season has gone. If you're not aware, going into this year, CJ McCollum and the rest of the NBA Players Association introduced the second apron rules and the new rules related to cap aprons. And what this means is that if you are over the second or first apron, you cannot make a trade where you bring in a contract that is more expensive than the contracts you're shipping out. You can't go any further into luxury tax. It is just not allowed. So say a team like the Lakers wanted to bring in a new center, and they decided to trade Ayton and Marcus Smart. The combination of those two contracts has to be the exact same or greater than any big contract they're bringing in. It is extremely hampering, and it has completely terrified GMs into working out the kinks in these trades. It's why we have no longer seen those massive 4-pick trades, those 5 second rounders getting thrown around for one player. It's why August 15th, we saw the Miami Heat trade away Haywood Highsmith and draft consideration to the Brooklyn Nets for draft consideration. Not even telling you what pick, at least on NBA.com. So there are some general issues right now with the collective bargaining agreement, how the cap works, and how trades are made. It's why we're not seeing any trades, and I think that makes for a more boring league. As, of course, Trae Young was traded for, funnily enough, CJ McCollum and Corey Kispert. We talked about it yesterday. I'm not talking about it again. But the reason why this works is because Trae Young is getting paid $45 million, and CJ McCollum and Corey Kispert combined are making more than that. It's not a good trade for the Hawks, but there's not much else they can do, especially given the leverage they have. Jumping back over to the chat here, Austin is saying, is anyone even worth trading for out there for any team? The answer is yes, there is, because one name and one name alone will change the league and at its foundation the moment he gets traded. And of course, I'm talking about Kevin Love on the Utah Jazz. No, I'm not. I'm talking about Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's on the trade block. He is number 1 on Sport for trade candidates right now. There's no reason why we shouldn't be giving them the package of the lifetime to try to bring this guy in. Again, I'd send Colin Murray Boyles. I would. That's how extreme we're going to get. That's how extreme we're getting. I'm sending Colin Murray Boyles. I'm sending away Grady Dick. I'm sending away Emmanuel Quickly. Let's make those contracts line up because, of course, Giannis is making $24 million. So those are my 3 guys I'm trading away. We'll give you 2 first-round picks to go with it. Give us Giannis Antetokounmpo. Let's go win a championship in Toronto. So that answers your question, Austin, in the chat. Some of the other guys, of course, still Anthony Davis. He's going to come back at the end of this season. He's not fully out. If his team that he's on makes the playoffs, they'll get him. That's a long shot play nowadays. I'm not really into that so much. Domantas Sabonis, it's an inside presence. Horrible defensively, but wow, would our offense be so much fun. And then, of course, there's Ja Morant. Not super interested in bringing him in. Darius Garland, James Harden. Not so interested. I'm fully looking towards big man. I think Shed should be just the starting point guard for this team. And if we need more ball handling duties, we give it to Brandon Ingram. We give it to Scotty Barnes. Emmanuel Quickly is near the top of this list, but yeah, I'm I'm all in on Giannis Antetokounmpo right now. So that's basically it for the NBA trade deadline. Not that much else to say about it, really. And again, your question of for any team, the big thing that I'm scared of, just in the NBA in general, making big trades, is anyone worth trading up for any team? Yes, the New York Knicks. They're struggling right now. They've lost a good amount of games in a row. Call it 4. It's a bit of a skid. And they are struggling right now. And a big part of that is that their center is awful defensively, can't hold down the fort. And that might have been the same issue they ran into in the playoffs. Cat is a good player. Great player, might I add. But he's not a winning player. Not unless he has a Rudy Gobert next to him. Not unless Mitchell Robinson is suddenly able to start games alongside him. But the way the Knicks operate right now, it goes Brunson, Bridges, OG Anunoby, Josh Hart, and then Cat. They don't want to play Mitchell Robinson or Cat in the power forward spot and then bench Josh Hart and put in Mitchell Robinson. They just don't want to do that. And it's leading to issues. The Knicks players held a players-only meeting to say, hey, something has to give and we have to be better. I think a better solution is trading away Karl Anthony Towns for Giannis Antetokounmpo. it seems more likely than anything we would be able to do. Because they have the big name to send. Karl Anthony Towns' cap hit is practically the same as Giannis's. So we got to get ahead of the ball here. I don't see why the Knicks don't send Karl Anthony Towns a first in 2 seconds, for Giannis. That just makes them a better team. That makes them a championship team. Right now, Austin, I guess to answer your question, every team is going to be playing the Giannis sweepstakes. Who's going to win it? It's a great question. I want the Raptors to win it because we would be unstoppable. We would absolutely be undeniable how good that this Raptors team would get, especially going into a road trip. Having him just join us midway through. Let's trade for him now. Let's trade for him yesterday. As of course, brought on the Dubs. Yes, we did, and I would love to see more Dubs fill up the scoreboard, the calendar here. But we brought on the Dubs big time last night. If you missed the game last night, don't blame you. It was at 10 p.m. I watched the first half and promptly fell asleep in the second. I did get to watch some of the highlights this morning while I was still awake and not taking a midday nap because this game was terrific. I mean, how comfortable do you want your fans to be? I was able to just... there wasn't a stress in the world watching this basketball game. Let me tell you that. As the first quarter, we won 41-28. The second quarter, we would win 29-22, leading to a first half deficit of 20 points for the Golden State Warriors, as we would be winning 70-50. Now, Emmanuel quickly had 18 points and 3 assists by this point. In the second half, he had up 22 and 7. Again, what a game. What a game. It just seems like every shot was falling for every player. It was so much fun. Grady Dick, those 10 points came really quick into the game. He had 7 in the first quarter. Again, I don't get how we play Grady Dick on this team. But in the first quarter, he plays 7 minutes, scores 7 points. He was efficient. He was a plus 13. In the second quarter, we played him for 7 minutes yet again. He would not score anything on only 2 shots. He would be a -3. Sure, maybe that warrants a little less minutes. But in the third quarter, you only played him 3 minutes. He didn't get a single shot up. He fouled twice, and I guess that's kind of why we stopped playing him. As in the second quarter, he also fouled twice, and then 4 fouls. You're not going to see much action in the rest of the game, as he would play 5 minutes in the fourth quarter, scoring 3 points, getting a rebound. Again, it's like I see so much more in this guy than I feel like the Raptors coaching staff, and maybe that makes me wrong. But you just don't average 14 points a season by accident, and that's what he did for us last year. So, I don't know. Weird to me, but the biggest thing that's not weird to me is the defense being terrific. Stephen Curry, 2 for 7 from three-point land. Yeah, he just didn't have a shot, but most of the time we were forcing him to be uncomfortable. Playing that Matthew Dellavedova 2016 defense, we were really not letting Steph be Steph. He looked like just a regular point guard, and it actually turned into them benching him for a while. I say benching him, meaning he only played 24 minutes because we were up by so much. He didn't really need to play at all. Also looking at Draymond Green, so useless. When Steph Curry's bad, he's bad. He only had 6, 6, and 5, which is actually not a bad game. Just shot 3 for 9. Didn't really do much out there. Also, Will Richard, he didn't end up starting. The website I was looking at, again, wrong. Great sources I have. But Will Richard did end up playing 23 minutes. And you might be saying, who? Will Richard. He is a rookie, 23 years old, drafted out of, I think, Belmont. Yeah, Belmont is where he is out of. But played for Florida, I think, previously. Anyways, random guy. I was saying who on the stream going into it, and Yeah, he had 0 points in 23 minutes played. Bring on the dubs. We brought on the dubs. What a game. That's what we were looking for. And almost a mirror of our last game score-wise, as we won 141 to 127. We won this one 145 to 127. So a great game. And coming up next, we have the Sacramento Kings, and they've been atrocious this year. They're 12-32. And so, yes, this is the second half of a back-to-back, but I have no doubts in my mind that we should win this game. I mean, they're just coming off a loss to Miami, 130 to 117. Before that, they lost to Portland, who we play next after us, 117 to 110. Shockingly, before that, a 4-game win streak, but this is a atrocious team. Hopefully, we're catching them on another losing streak here. And how cute. We're going to be seeing DeMar DeRozan tonight. As this team, again, struggling, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, both averaging 19 points per game. I'll be nice to Zach LaVine and say he's averaging 20. It's so bad. I don't know what they're doing in Sacramento. So, should be a free win tonight. If it's not a win, then that's my fault. I cursed the team by saying it's a free win. So that's that for the Toronto Raptors. Let's trade for Giannis Antetokounmpo. Now, we'll talk about our last thing. Let's go Leafs. Let's go Toronto Maple Leafs. We're not going to mention, we have to mention the last game the Leafs played. So if you were part of my stream for that, you would know that I said we were going to win 4-2. And if you know how that Leaf game went, you would know I'm wrong, as the Toronto Maple Leafs would lose to the Minnesota Wild horribly. A 6-3 loss that was not close, basically at any point in the game. The Minnesota Wild would score twice, once 5 minutes in, once 10 minutes in. That would be Vladimir Tarasenko, who, of course, I trash-talked and said that he is old. I called him 34, but I called him, I think, 37. Of course, he scored the first one. And then the second goal, again, another guy I trash-talked on yesterday's, or 2 days ago stream, Ryan Hartman, their first center. I trash-talked him. He scores. Marcus Foligno would score the third goal for them in the second period, and then Vladimir Tarasenko would score the fourth, and Marcus Foligno would score the fifth. To go up 5-1 in this game, I didn't trash talk Mark Foligno, thank goodness, because that would have been extra funny. But I trash talked quickly yesterday, and he went crazy. And then 2 days ago, I trash talked Hartman, and I trash talked Vladimir Tarasenko. I'm just now realizing that's a Marcus Foligno hat trick we gave up. And it would actually be them to score the empty netter. It was, bad. The Tarasenko-Foligno full houses. Tarasenko had 2 goals. Foligno had 3. It makes me want to puke. It's an awful game. I trash-talked Brock Faber a bit, saying he was, playing with Quinn Hughes. That's a big position for a young guy. Yeah, he had 2 assists. He was really good in 24 minutes played. Philip Gustafsson played amazing. So, hey, Easton Cowan assist. Woo. Yeah, okay, look. My dad said it best. He was completely correct. He was nervous about this game. He was nervous that the Leafs would be tired after a long streak of games there. And, he was exactly on the money. As before this game, we were on our long road stretch, 4 straight games on the road, and it looked like it. So tonight we're going to be facing off against Detroit, who's very good, second place in the Atlantic Division. Can we beat them? We'll have to wait and see. As that is going to do it. That's all the time I got for you today. As I can't believe Emmanuel Quickley had that game. 40 points on the most efficient night in NBA history. How do you like that? That is all she wrote. That's all it's going to be for me today, as that was a fun one. We will, of course, be back tomorrow with more sports talk. Hopefully, talking about 2 wins, 2 victories. But now that I've said that, you all know my teams are going to lose tonight. So, knock on wood, knock on wood. Sorry, hockey gods. Sorry, basketball gods. That's all it's going to be for me. Of course, Curtis Collings saying peace.